Fine. I will cope.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, I think it should be.
Okay.
No. Oh, okay. Okay, hello everybody. Make games. That is the title of my presentation and potentially the entire talk. Because what I said to a few people I would do today is I would turn up and I'd give a lovely talk, and then, but at the same time as I'm talking, I'd be making a game. And then I thought about that a bit more and I realised that that's crazy, because I'd be spending all my time thinking about what I'm doing in the game rather than actually talking and saying interesting things about making games. But maybe I'm going to try it anyway. So you guys have a choice. Three choices. I can do exactly that. I can just make a game, no slides, but I try and talk about interesting things relating to game development while I'm doing that. It could be good, it could be terrible. You don't know. Choice 2 is I just run through these slides really quickly and then I make a game, and maybe everyone in the audience with a laptop can join in too. Seriously, you can make a rubbish game in half an hour, an hour. It's going to be great. It's going to be great fun. So that's choice 2. Choice 3 is I make a game and then every now and again I switch out from the game and I talk about a slide from the presentation and just alternate it that way. So what are people excited by? How about the train wreck of option 1? Okay, how about the going through the slides and then making a game of option 2? Okay, some reasonable people in the audience. How about just mixing it up constantly? Number 3. 1. 2 people. Okay. I think I might be disappointingly dull and just go through the slides and then see if I can make a game really quickly. Oh, and the other thing about this is I was planning to use a game development tool that I've basically never really used before. So that's going to be fun, whatever. So yeah, this is going to be great. But you have to sit through the boring talking part first. That's what you voted for, guys. So who am I? Well, I'm Alan Hazelden. That is my name, and I want you to make games. That is my sole reason for being here today and for the rest of the year. I haven't been a student at this university for the last 3 years, but I'm here anyway because I really want more people to be making games, and this seems like a good way of getting that to happen. So I joined Warwick Game Design in 2006, which is 6 years ago, and I've basically been making games ever since. So obviously I like making games. Like, I'm hoping to enthuse you all with that kind of idea. You can find more Alan facts on my website. So what have I done? Why should you actually listen to me? Well, for one, it's because I'm here and you don't really have much of a choice. But even more importantly, you might want to actually pay attention rather than just falling asleep. I'm watching. So I am the current maintainer for Flashpunk, which is a Flash game engine. I know that some of you in the audience have heard of it, have used it, have started trying to use it. It's really cool. I like it. Otherwise, I wouldn't maintain it. And I know a lot about it, obviously. My current game project is a game called Soccer Bond. It's a chemistry-themed puzzle game, and I can tell you, without a trace of exaggeration, that it is the best chemistry puzzle game from an indie developer since Space Chem. Not gonna lie, that's the state of affairs. I also made a game called These Robotic Hearts of Mine, which is freely available on Newgrounds and also buyable, buy my game, for iOS and Android. So I am a professional indie game developer. Oh yeah. I have made literally dollars of money out of game development. And why is this auto-pressing? I made a game called Ship Snake. Surprisingly large number of people have played this game, and then I've talked to them and I said, oh yeah, no, I made this game, These Robotic Hearts of Mine, and not expect them to hear about it, and they haven't heard about it. But then, like, somebody else will make, no, you made Ship Snake, and then, oh, I played Ship Snake. Ship Snake was amazing. Yeah, I made Ship Snake. Apparently, that's really exciting. It's a terrible game, but people seem to like it. It's got a catchy title, so I like putting it in my slides. Oh no, that's who I am. Who are you guys? I can see some faces I recognise, some faces I don't. Who here has made a game that is publicly playable? That's not a large number. I mean, no, you're more than that, surely. No, your game didn't get uploaded. No, okay. So, who here has made a game that could be publicly playable but isn't? Okay, I want you to go home tonight, click www.iwanttouploadmygametotheinternet.com, realise that's not an actual website, and find somewhere to upload your game. Because there is literally no reason to have a playable, complete, crappy game sitting on your hard drive where nobody's going to play it, when nobody can be playing it on the internet.
When I get sued for copyright infringement.
Yes, I will, because the likelihood of you getting sued for copyright infringement is so small that I don't care.
Have you played Smegas?
Yeah, nobody's going to care about that. Nobody's going to care about your Red Dwarf themed video game. I mean, it's in, like, they've got the new series going, and that's free publicity for you. There is
I don't really want that publicity.
I want you to have that publicity. I don't care if you do. So yeah, I think you should make your games publicly playable, because even if they're crappy, and yeah, they probably are, they're your crappy. Embrace that. So why do any of you want to make games? Just anybody? Anybody gonna
You keep telling me to.
I do keep telling you to, but I'm presuming that since you keep turning up to this society, there is some part of you that wants to make games. Okay, well, I want to make games because it's a really rewarding medium to work within, and that makes me sound really grown up or something, I don't know. I have a lot of fun making video games. Making games is excellent fun, it's rewarding, it's brilliant. Everyone should be making games, or everybody should at least try to make games, or make something. I mean, it's a creative thing that anybody can do, and that's really cool. I believe we've covered the title of this slide before. I do really want you to make games, and every one of you can make games. I don't care. You've probably got some excuses. A large number of you have made games and just not done anything with them, which is great. But a lot of people think, oh no, I can't make games, or I can't make a good game, which that's bullshit. Every one of you can make a game. You don't need a team. You can do it on your own. You don't need to program. You don't need to be a programmer to make a game. That's a total myth. Even if you can't draw, just take your demented art style and run with it. Or use pixel graphics, or use no graphics at all. It doesn't matter. Even if you can't make music, that's not an excuse. Because anything can be a game. I mean, you can make video games without any of those skills, but you can also make board games. A board game is a game. Playground games. There are so many fun, exciting games that you can make that involve people running around in a field. Well, like, if you want to make that kind of thing, you should. You can make interactive fiction. That's a game. That doesn't need you to be a programmer. That requires you to be able to put one word after another. Hopefully you can all do that. There's a society here at this university called the Assassin's Guild. It's people running around campus, like 24/7, you are an assassin and you have an assassin targeting you and trying to kill you in the game, not in real life. That's a game, that's brilliant. That is a beautiful game. It takes over your life and it's brilliant. 2.8 hours later is a zombie-themed citywide chase game.
Doing it next weekend.
Excellent. It's brilliant. It's not a video game. There is some technology involved, but it's not a video game. It's a game that involves hundreds of people running around the city being chased by zombies. You can make that kind of thing if you put the time in. So as I said before, making games is not about programming. You do not need to be a programmer to make games. You don't need to learn programming to make games. It might help, but it's not that hard if you choose the right entry tool. You shouldn't treat games as a programming channel. I mean, I got into games because I thought, okay, here's something that I can do that's interesting with technology, and it'll be a fun programming challenge. And yeah, it kind of was, but that's not the right reason to make games. I mean, if you want to make games for whatever reason, that's good. But it's looking at it the wrong way. Making games is about the games and the game design, and making good games or intentionally bad games. It's not about teaching yourself to be a better programmer, because to make a good game, you will have to hack like crazy. Because what's important is the game you end up with, not the code that's running under it or the drag and drop thingy that you're using. It's not important. So I got started at this society. I came along to the 48-hour competition in the first term of my second year. I said I thought of it as an interesting programming challenge. I wasn't a game designer. I couldn't think of game ideas that I wanted to make, which is a common problem. And I just made games based on what would be technologically interesting, because I didn't really have any idea. I didn't have any driving. I didn't look at something and go, I want to make a game about that. I thought, let's make a 2D platformer. Yay, platforming physics. I made crappy games for years. That's kind of expected. Crappy games are crappy, but they can be good crappy rather than bad crappy. But eventually, I made all of these games, and kind of it just started seeping into me. And I realised actually I cared about the game design sort of things more than the programming, and so I have loads of ideas now. I have more unfinished projects than I could probably finish ever. So if you make enough games, you will not have a problem coming up with ideas. So here's a random collection of things that are important about making games. They change. You can start out making one game and then halfway through realise that actually there's this one bit of it that would be a completely self-contained game of itself. And you need to listen to the game and look at what's interesting while you're making it, rather than being fixated on, there are some people that will recommend that you create a game design document at the start of every project, and you write down everything in your game that's going to be there, and then you write this down and it's going to be 20 pages long, and then you spend a year making it all. And that's terrible, because you're going to find that actually that's all a really bad game. So don't do that. Just dive in, start making something, and you'll find something interesting in there somewhere. But don't get attached to the original idea, because the original idea is probably terrible. Constraints are really, really useful things to have. If you can have, one of my games was made with a 96 by 96 pixel resolution restriction, and the game I ended up making was directly inspired by having a small play space to work with. You can have limited palettes to work from, just 2 colours for everything. You can have 1 button to work with and no other input system. Pretty much any constraint that you can put upon yourself is going to be useful if you especially if you don't have an idea for what game you want to make. Just come up with a ridiculously frustrating set of restrictions to work within, and you'll probably end up with something interesting. You should make the simplest possible thing. Like, if you're creating a Space Invaders clone, then you could spend weeks, months making an exciting particle system that has fancy explosions and everything. But that's not the best thing to start with. You should make a bare bones Space Invader clone which may not even have graphics, just has squares moving around the screen, and then work from there. Because, again, it's what I said earlier about listening to what the game wants to be and just being ready to adapt what you're making. And also, the less you aim for, the quicker you can get it done, because you want to be finishing projects quickly. Games have a tendency to drag on. The projects I've been working on now have been going on for the last 6 or 7 months, and that's not bad, because a lot of games take years, and that's not even big projects. Talking mainstream games, you've got 100-person teams working for years and years. Even indie projects take years and years. Ideally, you want to be done a lot faster than that, because you want to make a game, finish it, make a game, finish it. I think I discussed this later on. Just a general tip: if your game looks terrible, add some particles. They will make it look, maybe not great, but a hell of a lot better. Particles make games better. Sound makes games a hell of a lot better. I've made a lot of games in the past which don't have any audio, and I have this rule of thumb: adding any audio to a game makes it 10 times better immediately. It doesn't matter how terrible they are, they will make your game better. If they're so terrible that they're funny, even better. For several games, I've just recorded myself speaking into a microphone. Yay! That works. Any audio, 10 times better. Good sound effects, that's 10 times better on top of the 10 times for having any audio. Good music, that's 10 times better again. So you can have an 1,000 times improvement to your game by adding good sound effects, good music. Don't underestimate the power of including audio in your game, because it always seems like something you can put off until later, but you will find that it makes a big difference to the feel of the game and make it feel complete. Your first games will suck. That's something you've got to deal with and accept. Hopefully they will suck in interesting ways. Maybe they won't. You should not care too much about that, because if you keep making enough games, you will hit upon something that's legitimately good. So I kind of advise you to embrace the suckiness of your games. Intentionally make something broken, something half-assed, something that you make in 2 hours and never work on again. Something with sound effects which are just your voice, and graphics which are the fridge drawings of your 3-year-old brother. Because your game's going to suck, so it might as well be a sucky game that's finished in a week rather than a sucky game that's finished in 2 months. But even a good game, the first prototype of that is probably going to suck anyway. How do you tell the difference? Pretty much just experience. So yeah, I mean, just accept the fact that often you can't tell the difference between a prototype that could be good with a lot of work and something which is just not great, and you could work on. Like, so often you will have an idea and you think this is great. I mean, it's got problems, but I need to keep working on it, and you just get sucked into it, and you'll keep working on it, and 5 months later you realise that the idea might have been good, but it wasn't great, and you could have been working on something else at the same time. My creative process is to make as many games as I can. Hope that one's okay. Get something working quickly, which means you need to hack. It doesn't matter that you could be causing trouble for yourself later on. Do it anyway. Just hack it. Do the simplest possible thing that will work. And if later on you need to change it, because, okay, like using 10 gigabytes of memory to display one image is a problem. Okay, maybe it is, but if you're only displaying one image at a time, then worry about that when you need 2 images. You should get people to play your games, because, well, you can't tell if your game is good or not. You'll think your game is good, or you might not. But a lot of the time you will think your game is good, and then somebody else will play it, and they will have this terrible experience, because you know how it's meant to be played. You have all these assumptions and all this knowledge about your game, and nobody else has the same viewpoint as you. So you need to watch somebody else playing your game to have any idea whether it's good. And this is another reason you should upload your games, why you should make them publicly playable. Because if they're just sitting on your hard drive, you might think that they're great, but you won't get any feedback, and you won't have anybody looking at them. Your friends might be liable to tell you that something is good when it's okay. So ideally you get complete strangers, but that's hard. But it's better to get somebody who will tell you to your face that your game is terrible than to get your wife to look at it and have biased feedback. So yeah, you should upload your games. You should tell everybody. You should get as many people playing your crappy hour-long projects as that hour to make, not an hour to play. Hopefully your first game isn't going to take an hour to play, because very few people are going to do that. Yeah. So your first project will suck. Usually even more than you realise, even if you think it's good. Tough luck. That's the way it is. You could invest time trying to improve that, saying, okay, it's not great now, but if I add this, then it'll be better. And sure, it might well be better, but probably that's not a guarantee. And the amount of time you spend working on one game that's a semi-complete prototype of the original idea, you could be working on a fresh project that might have the potential to be even better. So certainly when you're starting off, I suggest you just kill projects really as deadlyly as you can. After you've made 10 games, maybe you can look back at them and go, okay, maybe that one was actually worth continuing with. But until you've made a lot of games, it's hard to have that kind of experience to know which ones are good enough to keep working on. Because when you're starting out, certainly my experience was I thought everything was good, or good enough to invest a bit more time on, and then a bit more time. So just throw them away and come back to them when you've made a lot of games. I think that you should probably be making Flash games. To the point that you should have a really good reason not to target Flash. The main reason is because people might actually play your games that way. If you upload a game to congregate on Newgrounds, you will probably get 500 people playing it, no matter how terrible it is. If it's halfway decent, you can get significantly more than that. And all of those people will be commenting, leaving really asinine comments, which may or may not be useful feedback. But hell, I mean, that is really good for morale, just knowing that 500 people have played your game. So I think that is something that can't be understated. Like, if you have an executable that people have to download, then maybe you'll get 5 friends to play your game, and nobody will ever talk about it ever again. If it's online, if it's a Flash game, it has a lasting accessibility, which you really can't beat. Also, Flashpunk is lovely. I'm not biased in any way. You should talk to other game developers. Game developers give good feedback on games. There are various places you can go to do this. The World Game Design forums online, obviously World Game Design meetings in person. Like, bring a laptop to the meetings, to the pub, to the workshops. Get people to play your game, watch them play, and know that it's terrible and feel really bad that you've made this. And go, why aren't you playing it right? But yeah, so there's the forums online. So that's not existing anymore. I'm really sad. Ignore that one. TigSource, that's an online forum where you can go and just post up a build, and you will, like, even if it's not a Flash game, you'll have some people hopefully downloading it and giving feedback, and it's a reasonable community of game developers. Twitter, like, if you're not on Twitter, you should consider it, because a lot of interesting people are on Twitter talking about interesting things relating to game development. Midlands Indies is a monthly meetup of indie game developers in Coventry, Leamington, Birmingham. We meet up month to month. We go to the pub. It's pretty much like game design, but with different people. It's good. You should come along. TIG jams are a thing that happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year. You'll get maybe 30 or 40 developers congregating, usually in Cambridge, sometimes in London, and spend a weekend making games. It's a really great atmosphere, and I will tell people in the society when the next one is and encourage you all to go, because if you want an encouraging atmosphere of game developers around you while you're making games, it's hard to beat a game jam. And obviously there are competitions that this society runs which perform the same opportunity. You've got the 48-hour one at some point later in the term. You've got the 2 weekly ones, one of which started today and goes on for the next 2 weeks. And there's a whole bunch of excuses to make games. So ideally, you'll make a game for all of them. There's Lumdare or Ludendare, or however you want to pronounce it. This is a 3 times a year, 48-hour competition. It's held online. It's really, really good just to get a theme and know that thousands of other people are making games. It is maybe a bit too big at this point. Like, it can be a bit demoralising to know that maybe you're not going to stand much of a chance of getting noticed in all that people, but it's great anyway. Click of the Month is kind of the exact opposite. It's a monthly event where you get 2 hours and you make a deliberately terrible game, or as they put it, you make terrible games which are terrible in a way that is awesome. They often use the program Click and Play, which is about 20-year-old program for making games, which is obviously ancient, but because it's so old, the restrictions are actually quite useful in making a game. But you don't have to use that. You can use literally anything. It's the least ruleful. Yeah, I mean there are no rules. If you make something, then that's valid. Doesn't matter what you use. Game prototype challenge. I'm not sure if that happens anymore either. Actually, maybe look that one up. TIG jams, as I mentioned before. Global Game Jam that happens in January and has like 100 odd places around the world and thousands of people making a game around the same theme. And it's just another excuse to make a game. And there's tons more. You could go and find probably a game jam happening once a week to find the theme that they're giving people and just do a game jam for a week, every week for a year. You'd go crazy, but you could do it. There are a lot of game jams. So that's that. Any questions, or should I try making a game in the next 15 minutes? Okay. Well, this is going to go terribly. Just a warning. So give me a retro game.
Pac-Man.
Okay, that's a good sign. Pac-Man. Too complicated. Another one.
Asteroids.
Asteroids I can do.
This is going to make your game now, isn't it?
That's the last game you made.
If you've got a laptop, you should get your laptop out and try and make something. It'll be terrible and great.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something which is kind of like asteroids. It's kind of cheating, but I don't care. It doesn't actually have any asteroids, so you're probably not getting an asteroids clone in the next 15 minutes.
Does this software work on a Mac?
Yes,
Well,
this
it's on
works
Linux
on Mac,
as well.
Linux, Windows. So
I'm not sure that was the idea.
so this is. So these aren't asteroids; these are enemies. So this is already not within the remit of what I've made. This is terrible in several ways. So let's just try and fix it really quickly. For one thing, I can't tell when there's nothing on screen that I'm actually moving. Can you tell which direction I'm moving in? I can't. I don't have a clue how to fix that though, so let's ignore that.
Google Maps in the background.
Well, there already is something in the background.
It just doesn't move.
So it doesn't move. So let's just try that, making that. That's a background. So I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to try doing this live game making thing is just to demonstrate that you don't need to take it too seriously. So you can just whack something together. You can take an example project. You could change the graphics and do whatever. Okay, so I can't. Yeah, like I said, I've never really used this program before. I don't know how anything works. But let's. So I can do things, and hopefully I'm going to find that there's something I can do with the background that makes it. Oh, maybe if I go in here, this is probably going to be really terrible to watch. I do apologise. Scenes, edit, background, scrolling parallax scene. That's right. How do I change the properties of the parallax?
When you create new background.
Okay, let's create a new background.
There's something on the lower left hand side of the entire thing.
Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about, hacking. I don't have time to name things, which would, if this was going to be a bigger project, really kick me in the ass. But I know that I'm not, so who cares? Let's go into Aquaria. Oh no, that's just the... so where's some sample images that I can use? Okay. There we go. So it's these settings that we want. And then... how's everybody else getting on? Making progress? Okay.
Attach the background.
Attach the background.
No, the right.
You guys are good. It probably replaces it, hopefully. Yeah. And okay, so that's
Sort of.
that's not quite. So that is moving though.
Yeah, but it's not moving with you.
Oh no, it's not moving with me. No, I can fix this. Where did the properties go? Seriously, where did the properties go?
Probably under the tab.
Suppose.
Called
Background.
But that was under the create.
No. If you go to top of the tabs, the JG
Above it.
above.
Ah. Okay, so that's the
Is it the
generic
parallax
movement
factor?
one. And yeah, this is the parallax. I think. Let's just do that for good luck. No, that didn't do anything.
This stops it.
Um,
Adjust the parallax back.
Yeah.
ah! Okay, I've got 2 copies of the game running now.
Whoa, okay, that did something.
Oh, yeah,
It's
okay.
moving now.
I think that's all good.
Yeah.
Because I was stuck to the left-hand side of the screen because it wasn't wanting to display outside the bounds.
I wonder if it was on was it those retina display things at the iPad or something, and you had it really bright. Would that cause epilepsy?
Yeah, you could probably like change the colours like every frame. Oh yeah, so that's working now, I think. Yeah. So that's like the simplest change you could possibly make, and that's taken me 10 minutes. But like it's been fun, right? We're all enjoying ourselves. So let's make these enemies behave more like asteroids.
Type.
Did you want fire cannon possibly?
Yeah, that'd probably be better.
That's fine.
It'd be better if the dashboard exercising clicking the enemies and not from there.
You guys are so good at this. So these guys have behaviours.
Wonder.
Yeah, you don't want to edit wonder.
So no. I'm not caring about the movement. We're dealing with the.
The pictures.
No. Okay, so if
What are you doing then?
He's going to make the split into small ones.
We're going to these ones.
We just scaled down the images, it's fine.
It's better than 2.
Yeah.
Every time you shoot one, you get to kill one every.
yep, that's what I'm going for. So I will actor. I want to spawn a new actor. Create actor type. So let's spawn him.
we should probably kill self. Because we're going to add lots of actors, aren't we? Let's make them teleport, so they go to the YX position of self rather than the XY position.
Do you realise you can't see the whole screen and it might be difficult to test that?
Yeah, well, okay, I'll make one of them spawn where it is, and then the other spawn.
It's one with the X.
X speed. Oh no.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
And
One X speed on himself.
So let's give this a go. So this is exactly the kind of wacky thing that's going to go terribly wrong. It's colliding with the wall, and the wall is spawning 2 copies of it every time. And I'm kind of freezing my computer. So, like, you
Hey.
if you throw wacky ideas at the wall, things will stick. And it may be a terrible idea, but if I kept playing around with this long enough, I would come up with something that might actually be fun to play with. Like if every time you kill an enemy, it spawns in 2, and there's nothing you can do except delay the inevitable, then you've got a score count of how many enemies you've killed. That can be a score attack game, which is ridiculously hard because the more enemies you kill, literally the more enemies are there immediately. It's not the game reacts to how you're playing, and if you're doing well, it throws more enemies. No, the relationship is pretty understandable. In fact, so somebody mentioned a game where every time you fired a bullet, it spawned a new enemy. Let's do that too, shall we? Active behaviours.
I think we need to fix the killing enemies as well, maybe?
Like in that scenario, if you fire perfectly and every time you fire you hit an enemy, then you're fine. You don't have any enemy problem. But the moment that you miss, you now have one more enemy than you have bullets available to shoot with. So in that game, you could maybe have it so that the bullets actually don't die when they hit an enemy and they just travel through. So the aim there would be to hit multiple enemies with the same shot. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do.
That would be a fun zombie game, right?
Yeah. Create actor type. Enemy at. Random number.
Have you disabled the other thing?
No, not yet. I probably should. Between 0 and another terrible thing that you should never do is hard coding the size of the screen into the game, because if I ever want to change this game so it's not 640 by 480, man, I'm going to get so annoyed about having to go into all these places and changing all these numbers. But hey, who cares?
Do you need to take off the wall?
I could take off the wall, yeah, let's do that. I was going to take off the ridiculous behaviour, but that's a lot better. What?
Dashboard.
Scenes.
Scenes.
Made.
You could just get something at the top, but
Yeah. Select on the left. And click on the button.
Okay.
There might be a quick way.
Yeah, there's got to be some
double click on them.
There's got to be a better way again.
Does double click not to set order or anything weird?
No, there's no click and drag.
You created a new one.
It did.
New game, just avoid the walls.
Just delete the one from that corner, because that's where they spawn.
Yeah. They're still going to spawn with each other, so this isn't great, but.
What if instead of
So
spawning
spawn
new enemies,
there
you just keep
because,
spawning
it
the walls?
was going like at a certain speed at the same
Closer around you.
time.
Excellent.
I think
Well, that's his problem. I was suggesting something more, but I think you're anyway.
Okay, let's just. Where's the fire cannon thing? I don't know if I can do this. I'm really hoping I can. Can I copy this? Oh yeah. So let's just do that and just spawn them at a random position. Okay. So okay, maybe this will work. They might still have the potential to spawn inside walls or close enough to walls that it causes a problem. But hey, let's see. Well, I died, so it reset. So there we go. So this is spawning new enemies every time they hit each other. So that's obviously great. So there we go. Oh man, and if they were shooting bullets as well, this could be great. You get the idea. I'm not going to make a complete, actually good game here. I'm not going to make a complete playable game here either. But I've been playing around for a quarter of an hour, and I've got something which is ridiculously stupid. And that is the kind of thing I want you to make. So I think I'm more or less done here.
No, you're not.
No?
Remember what you said last year?
It's got sounds! Can you not hear them?
I think you said sound and music.
No.
Just sing while you play it.
Okay, fine. Let's do this. There's no mic. So if anybody have a microphone, then I will happily record myself singing for 5 seconds, and then add that in as a looping background track. No, it's probably got. So let's find the crappiest. Oh, I've probably got some terrible looping audio on the laptop. Let's do this.
You've got your stand-ins for exec music still somewhere, sure.
Oh yeah, I've probably got them too. That wouldn't really quite fit the atmosphere of this game that I'm trying to create.
Does it matter? Sounds on the left.
Sounds.
Does a wind sound?
You wouldn't know. Oh yeah, if you kill all the enemies, then you win. And then it goes to exactly the same level again. Okay, so... where are they?
Only looking for MP3s.
Does it not support what?
I think it...
No.
Lame. Okay, fine. We can deal. That was meant to work. Oh, I got it. Okay. Oh, why would you not remember my folder? Stupid thing. Okay. Will that loop? Let's find out. How do I attach it to the
It's... You go into like behaviours or something.
behaviours?
That's it. To do it.
Okay. These are the best names ever. Sound.
You want it to loop
Yeah.
somewhere.
Loop.
Like,
Sound. my helpful names. I knew exactly one was mine. Where did they
need
Do you not need to attach to
You
C?
didn't attach
Oh,
it.
did it not automatically attach to the theme?
No.
Okay. Oh yeah. So there we go. Complete game with sound, music. Stop the audio! Yes. So this is a beautiful piece of artwork that I hope has taught you all a wonderful lesson about making games. Thank you. Did you get anywhere?
I was trying to change one of my old games,
Yeah.
and it took that long to get it so that it would compile. In fact, I haven't quite got it.
That's not at all surprising. Were you making anything?
I got a smiley face that flies through space.
Excellent!
That's quite a catchy name, actually.
Theme for the next competition.
Yeah, there we go.
Smiley face that flies through space.
Excellent.
It goes full screen.
Oh, wax and feathers.
Oh yeah, sorry. We've got it on.
Just post them all in the forums. We'll get to some events this year.
Wax.
Okay.
Cheers.